really a crime to take your partner abroad? Like, is it a bad thing? Why do some people strongly advise against it? 537, that's the number of police referrals to the Home Office for immigration investigations in connection to victims of domestic abuse between April 2020 and March 2023. The reality is that there's a rising number of migrants who suffer domestic abuse in silence because they don't know who to talk to and they don't know exactly what to do. Since my previous video of the lady who got her ILR because of domestic violence, especially after she spoke out, I've gotten lots of messages in my inbox of people who can relate to this story, heartbreaking experiences of a lot of migrants, both men and women, who are willing to share their stories. And I'm going to be bringing these videos here from time to time just so that you would learn something from it, because some of them are actually regretting that they didn't take some certain actions and it made them suffer this abuse for a long time, and some of them are willing to share just so that people can learn from their stories, do what they didn't do, know exactly what to do and how to get this help. Because the common thread is that a lot of them feel trapped, powerless and afraid to seek help, especially because most of them don't know exactly what to do that would jeopardize their immigration status in the UK. So these things can really be confusing. So we're going to be sharing today this case of a young lady who moved to the UK with her husband on a study visa. Unlike the other lady who got married to a British citizen, right? These ones, a lot of us can relate to it because they moved to the UK just like every other person on a study visa, and she went through a lot of abuse from her spouse. In fact, this is one story you would want to listen to, so please stick with me to the end so you will know exactly what happened to her, you know, her immigration status currently and how she was able to conquer this abuse and what happened to her partner afterwards. My name is Tochi. You guys are welcome to my channel. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up if you get value, subscribe if you haven't, and do well to share it to everyone that will benefit from it. Okay, to all my returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. You're welcome back to today's video. Guys, you know I always bring value to you guys, right? And that is why I'm super excited to tell you guys about Nourisha, the sponsors of today's video. Nourisha is a meal prep and food delivery subscription service in the UK. They offer a wide range of cuisines to African, Asians and European communities in the UK. As you can see, I'm super excited because I just got my package delivered. You get to make your orders and choose exactly when you want your meal to be delivered to you, and it comes to your doorstep when somebody is at home to receive it because it's freshly cooked, right? Another reason why I'm so excited about Nourisha is that normally if I want to get African food, I drive 45 or even 1 hour down to get it, but with Nourisha I don't have to worry myself anymore. It comes to me, so all I have to do is just select what I want on the app, and it gets delivered to me exactly on the day that I want it, right? You could do a weekly subscription, it could be monthly, you can even do a one-off if you want to try it out and see. But trust me, you will love it because I love it. This is good. I know I'm always busy. I'm a mom of 3 living in the UK with no help. I have my business, I work as well, so I might not always have the time to cook, but with Nourisha I get my food delivered to me. I just store it in my fridge and we eat. It will serve you, it's family friendly, and their foods are so delicious. Guys, their meals are very delicious. You would love it. So with my code TOCHI, a weekly subscription will get you 14 meals, lunch and dinner inclusive, and you get to pick from the available menu for the week, delivery inclusive, for £80. And if you're doing a monthly subscription, you will get 56 meals for £320 with my code. And if you just want to try it out and do a one-off thing, that is pay as you go, that's fine. Your package gets to be delivered to you within 24 to 48 hours depending on where you're staying. If you're in England, 24 hours, and if you're outside England, within 48 hours. Okay, so guys, Nourisha is here for you, and I'm so excited about this because it's not just owned by one of us, it has created lots of job opportunities and it's so good for our community. So this is one brand that you should be excited about. Like, you should be so proud that you're an African man or woman because we represent anywhere we go, right? Nourisha is there for you. Download the app right now. I'll leave all the links you need in the description box. So I got this email from this young lady. She's she said, "Hello Tochi, I watched your latest video on YouTube. I'm going through worse and I really need to share my story with you to also enlighten people. Please call me anytime." She gave me her number, and of course I reached out to her and she told me this heartbreaking story. Guys, this is a young lady who just moved to the UK on a study visa last year with her family. She moved to the UK at the time with her husband and her daughter, and immediately they moved into the UK. According to her story, her husband just changed. And guess what? She also mentioned that this man wasn't doing so well in Nigeria, that her mom sponsored their visa to the UK, and then they got into the UK. Things was going on fine initially, and all of a sudden, after he got a job and started earning well, he just changed. The first thing is that he went physical on her, right? He beat her to the extent that she almost fainted. She had to involve the police because she had to save herself first, and the police came, investigated the whole thing, and she was still covering up for him. You know, young couples, they just moved to the UK. She just tried to cover up and she didn't want to press charges, right? That was how they left that one. They continued living together until she got pregnant for their second child. That was when the man now brought out his true colors. The man refused to help her or even do anything for her throughout her pregnancy. And guys, she was really sick. You guys know that pregnancies comes with a lot of complications for women, right? She was among the lucky few that really had it hard during pregnancy. She was even on crutches, like she couldn't walk, she couldn't do anything, she couldn't cook, but she didn't get any help from her husband, to the extent that her husband even abandoned her, moved out of their room and stayed away from their daughter. If her daughter is crying for food or something, the husband will call her on phone to go and attend to her. Like, this is somebody who is sick. Before she can calm down, it takes a whole lot from her. It takes a lot of minutes. But you, who is the man, you're even the father of the child, you don't even care. So this went on for a long time, to the extent that the man didn't even care about the daughter anymore. The man didn't care about them anymore. She wasn't working. She is the one on a study visa. I don't know if I mentioned that. And the husband moved as her dependent, right? So she couldn't really do so much. Of course, if you're on a study visa, you can only work for just 20 hours a week. So the husband, as a dependent, was the one who was doing the major work and earning more money. He wasn't really giving them money for upkeep. Like, he really didn't care about them. Even when she tried to get a job, she applied for her DBS to come. This man got the DBS and hid it. Like, this man didn't want her to work. Can you guys imagine that? The DBS took a lot of months, and she was wondering, why hasn't this thing come? The company said you should have received it by now, but she didn't get it, not knowing that her husband got it and hid it just so that she doesn't see it. They now sent her the second one. She started working. The man even had to stop her from working. After all the stress she went through during pregnancy without getting any support or help from her partner, right? Let me just summarize it so that this video is not too long. Okay, she finally put to bed and she didn't get even one help from her partner. She was basically in pains and taking care of her new baby and her other daughter, her toddler as well. And then this man didn't want her mother to come to help. The man said that their house was too small. She said it's a 2-bedroom apartment, but the man insisted that her mother cannot come because they cannot afford it, that the house is going to be too tight for all of them, right? The house cannot accommodate her mother and everything. And because she didn't have the money, she couldn't do so much. Even when her mother offered to sponsor herself, the man still refused, to the extent that her mother has to call a relative of theirs to come take care of them, right? So she had to move to a relative of theirs to just take care of them for a while after she had her baby. So this kept going on and on. Even while she moved to that place, this man wasn't sending them upkeep money. The man wasn't coming to visit. The man was sending them £50 every month. People even had to speak to this man, like, how can you send your family, your wife and 2 children, £50 a month? And then he increased it to £100 a month. Like, when she was telling me this story, I was just screaming. I'm like, who does that? Remember, this was a man who was earning about 50,000 naira in Nigeria, but he now came to the UK, started making money. He now felt like, oh, he has arrived, and then he just became something else. He told his wife that she shouldn't work, she should come and stay at home and take care of her children. Like, my children, really, children that we both had, but he just put the children to her and told her to stay at home and take care of her responsibilities. So you stopped her from working, and at the same time, you were not giving them money to take care of themselves, right? So this just happened. After they moved, he still wasn't sending enough money, so she was practically depending on the person she was staying with. So it was just a lot for her to deal with. While she was saying all this, I just paused and asked her one question. I said, when did you guys get married? She told me, I think around 2018 or 2019. And then I said, didn't you notice any of this? Like, didn't he display of these characters while you guys were in Nigeria? And guess what she said? She said yes. Okay, she said she wouldn't lie to me. She's going to be very honest with me, that he was doing it to her. Even though he didn't go physical, he would lock her out of the house. Sometimes when they're having an argument, he would insult her, say all sorts of bad words to her, and then keep quiet, put on his phone and start recording her when she starts talking. Like when she starts reacting to what he has said, he would record her and then send it to his family and say, this is the kind of woman I married. She's always insulting me, she's always nagging. And you'll be like, who even does that? That is why when you see things on social media, sometimes you should not just conclude, because you should always ask, like, what is the backstory? Imagine somebody who would instigate you, insult you, say all manner of words to you, and then when you react, he records you, keeps quiet, and records you and send it to your family or his family and say, look at the kind of woman you are, just so that his family can hate her or dislike her, right? So she said all those things, were happening in Nigeria, but she figured that she wanted to move abroad. The system is working, maybe he would change. You know that applying for a dependent visa sometimes without the spouse is usually complicated. So she basically had to apply for him just so that she wouldn't have issues coming with her daughter and all of that, right? Hoping also that he would change, the system would work for them, and everything would be fine, right? Maybe if he starts earning better, maybe he was frustrated in Nigeria because he wasn't earning so much, things like that. Maybe if he starts earning well, everything will be fine. But guess what? He moved to the system that works and started earning well, and that actually brought out the beast in him. That is to show you that moving abroad sometimes doesn't change anybody. So if you're bad back at home, you're going to be bad abroad. It doesn't matter. There's no magic to these things. She was very honest to say that she saw the signs and all of that. This kept going on. Like, this man literally abandoned them where they were. He didn't care about his newborn baby, about his wife who just had a baby. He didn't care about his first child. He practically just abandoned them, and all he could do was send them £100 every month. Like, what can £100 do for somebody in this present day and time, you guys? Remember that they're on study visa and he's a dependent. So when the visa was about to expire, she didn't know what to do. She was broke, she wasn't working, she exactly didn't know what to do. So she had to call her mom. Her mom sent her money. Her mom sold her properties or something like that and sent her money to get a post-study work visa. Okay, now this is something that this guy did that is very funny, to show you that some people can be very mean. When the visa was about to expire, this guy started calling her, oh, what should we do now? What are we going to do? Something like that. And she didn't say anything, she doesn't know. So when she got the post-study work visa, she did not add him as his dependent. If you're the one, are you still going to add him as a dependent? Be very honest. You guys, I want to know in the comment section. But yeah, she didn't add him because she had seen a lot, and she said enough is enough. She was done with that. So the Home Office reached out to her to find out why she didn't add him as her dependent, and she said the truth is that they're no longer living together. She doesn't even know anything about him, right? They have not been communicating for a long time. So as a matter of fact, she was done with everything. They sent him a letter and gave him 28 days to leave the UK, but luckily for him, he actually got a work visa, so he stayed back in the UK. Okay, now for her own part, she was broke, she was jobless, and she had 2 kids to take care of all by herself because this man didn't care about them, right? So that was how she started seeking for help. She started going from place to place, started asking questions, and started reaching out to a lot of people, and she discovered that she could actually get help. When she got an accommodation, she asked them, hope this is not public funds because I'm not entitled to public funds, and they told her no, this is actually run by a charity that supports domestic violence, so it is not public funds, it is not from the government, right? So that was how they were able to give her upkeep money. They gave her an accommodation. Before they even found the accommodation for her, they lodged her and her children in a hotel, just took care of them, and that was how she got the basic help that she needed, simply because she spoke out. Imagine how this young lady would have just ended up if she didn't speak out. A promising young lady who moved to the UK to study, brought her spouse, and this was how everything ended up for her. Like, she became a single mother in the UK just like that, right? Something you didn't even plan for. So imagine what would have been her fate. How would she have been able to survive if she didn't speak out? She didn't have any job, she didn't have any money, she was so broke. She told me that at a point she couldn't even afford to buy biscuits for her daughter. Like, it was that bad. Her mother was still sponsoring her from Nigeria. It was really crazy for her at that period, but thankfully she's in a better place now, and she says she wants to share so that you can know what to do. Another thing that she mentioned is that when she eventually decided to reopen the case, because she needed this man to take up his responsibilities. These kids are theirs, it's for both of them. And then at some point they asked her, when all these things were happening, did you tell your GP? She said no. Did you tell your midwife? She said no. Did you tell the police? She said no. In fact, when she told the police, she told them that she didn't want to go ahead with the case, she wanted to close it. Did you tell your doctor? She said no. Did you tell your pastor? She said no. So there was nobody that could actually bear her witness. That was a point where she said, if only she had spoken out, if only somebody can say, oh, this lady told me about what she was going through, it would have been a different case. Like, she should have gotten an intervention earlier, and maybe should have gotten something different. But because she didn't really speak out, she didn't really report, she didn't say anything, there was no evidence, so it was a bit more difficult for her. So she asked me to tell you that please don't make the same mistake that she made. If you're going through domestic abuse, speak out. Tell somebody, tell your GP, tell your pastor, tell your doctor, just tell somebody, your child's teacher, just talk, because that would really save you a whole lot. That is very, very important. So yeah, that is her story. She's currently on post-study and she's working towards getting a work visa so that she can secure her stay in the UK with her children. And she has also reopened the case against her husband, and the police is working on it, and they're doing everything possible to make her husband to take care of his responsibilities, right? I felt so bad for her after she told me this story. That's to show you that a lot of people are going through a lot, so we should always try to be kind to people, because you don't know what the person sitting beside you is going through behind closed doors, right? So if you're going through any form of domestic abuse, speak out. You deserve more. Speak out. Leave that relationship for your mental health, for your children, for your life especially. Find the courage to leave. It might not be very easy, or you speak out. It's very, very important, okay? Just save yourself first. So that is it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Expect this kind of videos from time to time on this channel, and if you have any experience you want to share that you think people would learn from, feel free to reach out to me. My email will be in the description box. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.